Hi, everyone. My name is Natalie Pinto, and I'm from the Career Services Office. And I'm delighted to be your workshop facilitator for our What Can I Do with My Degree workshop. This is such a great workshop that's going to take you through the different stages of career exploration and career research so that you can investigate all the different possibilities that exist for career paths and opportunities that are related to not only your degree program, but also to your skills and your interests. And so let me walk you through this workshop. On today's agenda, we're first going to explore what is a career. We're going to look at the definition of career. Then I'm going to present an overview of career services. Then we'll go through the different stages of career planning. We'll first look at the exploration stage, then we'll look at research, and then we'll also touch on further education because for many career pathways that exist, an undergraduate or graduate degree is great, but sometimes we may need some further education after we complete our studies here at Carleton. Then we'll talk about next steps. Let's review the learning objectives for this workshop. At the end of the workshop, you'll be able to identify services and resources offered by Career Services, identify Carleton University's career competencies, recognize the importance of self-knowledge in career planning and targeting a job search, find out how to identify skills and employment opportunities, discover new job search strategies, tools in the hidden job market, and identify different networking tools and strategies to expand networking opportunities. A career is more than just a job title. So what is a career? A career is the sum of all life roles. It is a lifelong path of learning and skill building that includes our education, paid work, volunteering, and other personal and professional development. Let's start with discussing Career Services, a career development support service for students and alumni. Career Services is located in 401 Torrey Building and is open Monday to Friday from 8:30 a.m. till 4:30 p.m. Students and alumni are welcome to book an appointment with us using their My Success account or attend our drop-in hours from 1 p.m. till 4 p.m. However, the last appointment is given at 3:30. You are also welcome to connect with us by giving us a call, sending us an email, or using the live chat feature on our website. Students come to visit us for a wide variety of career development support services. Our most popular service is our cover letter and resume review service. But other services we provide are support with job searching, with networking, with applying to further education programs, with interviewing. We'll review your LinkedIn profile. And if you're considering changing your major, we will support you in exploring different career options related to other degree programs you may be interested in. We can also explore career options and pathways based on your current degree program, but they're also suited to your career goals, your interests, your values, and your skills. When thinking about our own career exploration and what we can do with our degrees, it's really important that we debunk some common career myths that exist out there that many people think are truth. It's very common when we're thinking about our careers to assume our career paths are going to look very linear in one straight line. So for example, say we come to Carleton and we're studying psychology. So oftentimes when students come to study, they think, okay, I'm going to earn my degree and then I'm going to go into a field that's traditionally associated with my degree program. So for example, with psychology, maybe it's to go into counseling or to go into some sort of mental health related profession. However, oftentimes our career paths actually look more like this, a squiggly line that goes all over the place, because the realities are that oftentimes we change our mind or we might decide to move around or try something new throughout our career journeys. So, one of the biggest myths to know and to understand and to debunk is that our career paths don't traditionally look linear. We often go all over the place, and that is totally okay if that ends up being what happens to us in our own career paths and our own career journeys. And the nice thing about our degrees is that they're so flexible that they allow for us to move around. They produce a host of transferable skills and transferable knowledge, and oftentimes very interdisciplinary knowledge that allows us to go into one field and then possibly move into another field down the road into our career if we decide to change our minds. I am a good example of that. Let me present to you a little bit about my own career journey. So, I actually graduated from Carleton. I'm a proud Carleton grad with a degree in mass communications. So, I'm revealing my age because mass communications no longer exists at Carleton. We now call it communications and media studies. So, I graduated from Carleton with a communications and media studies degree and also actually a combined honors degree with sociology. And I thought that I was going to become Barbara Walters. And for those watching this who don't know who she is a very famous female journalist, really was a pioneer in her industry and broke the glass ceiling for a lot of female journalists that currently exist today. So I wanted to go into journalism, but that didn't work out for me, and that is totally okay. What ended up happening when I was at Carleton, I started getting involved in the campus community. I got a lot of student jobs on campus. I belonged to clubs and societies. I really enjoyed Carleton and the campus atmosphere, and I really enjoyed my employment experiences at Carleton and wanted to stay here and continue working with the student body. And so as I was approaching the end of my degree, I got hired to develop the co-curricular record for this university. So if you've ever used the co-curricular record before, I developed it, and so I'm really happy it's still here and still exists. And so because I enjoyed my experience working in developing the co-curricular record, I knew that I wanted to continue working here at Carleton. I also will admit I had some life circumstances that occurred that required me to need some job stability and some health and benefits. And sometimes that happens in our lives. Sometimes things change for us, and that changes our priorities in terms of what we need in our career. And so I decided I wanted to stay at Carleton. I always thought I would stay in programming, but I was looking for a job opportunity, and one came up in the co-op office. And that's how that's how I started my career journey in the career development field. I started off working with employers in the co-op office, and then I knew that I really wanted to work with students. So I started doing some career research on what it would take to work with students. And in a lot of job descriptions that were coming up, it said, or one of the requirements that kept appearing was a master's of education. And so I decided to go to the University of Ottawa. I know, the enemy school. They're not the enemy. They're a great school too. But I know that's what we think at Carleton sometimes. And so I went to the University of Ottawa, again, great school too, and got my master's in education. And then I was very successful in getting an employment experience where I could work with students in the co-op office. I'm very grateful for that opportunity. But one of the things I also loved doing was workshops. I loved, communicating with students about career development and supporting them and attaining their career goals. And so an employment opportunity came up in career services, and that's how I'm here today delivering this workshop for you. Now, my professional development is ongoing. Just because I'm years into my career doesn't mean that I need to stop learning. And so throughout the pandemic, I, was thinking about my career and my own career goals, and something that is very relevant to career development and closely associated is the human resources industry. And so I wanted to learn more about human resources because I feel that it will have a great impact on my current role and in supporting students with their career development. So I decided during the pandemic to go back to school and earn a certificate in human resources. And I now have my human resources designation, the CHRP designation. So that's a little bit about my own career journey. So as you can see, for me especially, it has not been linear in one line. It has gone all over the place. Even though even though most of my career has taken place here at Carleton, I've gone to different departments. I've sought different educational opportunities, both here at Carleton and elsewhere. And so I am a true example of your career journey going in many, many different directions, and that squiggly line like you saw on this on the slide before. And what's really nice about our degrees being so flexible is that it produces a host of skills that are applicable to many different industries. And that's really appealing to employers because employers hire people. They don't hire degrees. And that's not to say that your degree is not important. It is very important, and it's really important to do well. But that's not the only reason why the employer is going to hire you. It certainly helps you to get your foot in the door. It certainly helps you to get to the interview stage, but they're looking at more than just that degree. They're looking at making sure that you're able to do the job, that you have the skills and the competencies required to meet their needs and fulfill the job duties. But I will say what a lot of employers are looking for these days is interest. They want to be able to see that you're interested in the job, that you're going to love the job, that you're going to be motivated to work hard, because oftentimes when we're interested in something, we're motivated. And so not only are they looking to make sure that you can do the job, they're also really making sure that you're going to like the job, that you're going to be interested in the job. So when speaking to employers and going to interviews, it's really important to convey both. I can do the job and I'm interested in doing the job. And then also employers want to make sure that they can work with you. And so let's move into career planning, because a big part of career exploration is that career planning. An excellent method to use when career planning is called the career planning cycle. This is where we go through various stages that help to guide us in our career planning. We often start at the career exploration stage, where we think about our strengths, so the skills that we're good at, our values and our interests. Then based on our reflections, we conduct some career research to find different career ideas that support the things that we're good at and the things we enjoy doing and the things that are important to us. Then we go into a planning stage where we plan to execute whatever career goal that we have in mind. And then the take action piece is when we actually do that execution. And so if we look back at my own career journey, back when I was in university and I was pivoting from wanting to become a journalist to working in the post-secondary sector, I first had to do some reflection on what I enjoyed doing in the post-secondary sector to be able to guide me on different departments here at Carleton that I should be applying to and looking for jobs in. And then I did some research based on that reflection. So when I was reflecting, I thought about how much I enjoyed working with students. And so I did some research on job opportunities that would allow me to work with students, but also in terms of educational criteria that is required for getting a job that would allow me to work with students. And then so I saw through that research that I needed a master's in education. So then I planned for how to obtained that master's in education, and then I took action. I actually enrolled in a program. And then later on in my life, when I was seeking further professional development experiences, I did that cycle again. I did some self-exploration to think about what type of professional development I wanted. I went into the research phase where I researched different programs. I then went into the planning phase for how I would actually undertake these programs and complete them. And then I took action. I enrolled in a program. And so at every single life stage that involves our career, we often go through this planning cycle. And so let's talk about that exploration phase. So a better question to ask ourselves, oftentimes we ask ourselves, what can I do with my degree? I'm in a law degree, or I'm in a criminology degree, or an engineering degree, or a science degree, a political science degree. There's so many degrees here at Carleton. That's just a very, very short list. So whatever your degree is, oftentimes we simply ask ourselves, what can I do with my degree? What are some options that exist out there? But really a better question to ask ourselves are, what are my skills, my interests, and my values, and how will that translate to a meaningful career path? An important step in career planning is getting to know ourselves. It's really important that we take some time to reflect on the following, looking at our own values and thinking about what's important to us. Also, what are our interests? What are our hobbies? What do we like to do for fun in our personal lives? Also, what types of environments or settings would we want to work in? Some folks would really be happy working in an office environment, while others would not want to work in an office environment. Everybody's different. Also, looking at the types of audiences we'd enjoy working with. What sorts of people do you want to work with? Some folks want to work with children, while others would prefer to work with adults. And for some students who don't know what type of career that they would like to seek after they graduate, another way of approaching it is by reflecting on challenges and problems. And so sometimes we don't have a career goal in mind, but we know that we would really like to help solve the mental health crisis that exists, or help to eradicate homelessness. So really looking at what are types of employment opportunities and career pathways that will allow us to solve some challenges or problems that we feel are very important to us. And then also looking at our classes. What has been our favorite courses and subject matters that we've enjoyed studying here at Carleton? Also looking at our own motivation, what excites and ignites us. And then finally, it's very important to think about our skill set and really think about our strengths. What skills are we good at, and what skills do we want to be using in a job? So let's talk more about skills. So what are transferable skills? Transferable skills are defined as a skill that you gain in one situation that can be used in other situations. So for example, skills that you gain in the classroom or in other experiences on campus that can be transferable to a workplace. We often categorize our transferable skills as human skills, also known as soft skills, and technical skills or industry knowledge, which are also known as hard skills. Technical skills are abilities and knowledge required to perform specific tasks. They are practical, measurable, provable, and experience-based. Some examples of technical skills are the ability to use Microsoft Office tools such as Word, PowerPoint, Excel, using Adobe Creative Suite, being able to take photographs and put them into our work, data processing activities, video editing, computer languages or programming, data collection, the ability to use social media and create different content for social media platforms, navigating and completing tasks using learning management software such as Brightspace, learning and collaborating on video conference platforms such as Zoom and Microsoft Teams, which are really important to employers these days because many workplaces are hybrid, which means that you will often have to collaborate with your colleagues in both in person environments and remotely online. Our human skills, also known as soft skills or people skills, are the personal attributes you need to succeed in the workplace. They're often related to how we work with others. Some examples of our human skills include our communication skills, such as writing reports, our public speaking and presentations that we give, the active listening and negotiation we sometimes do in teams. Also, problem solving and critical thinking, which includes research, information gathering, data analysis, and identifying themes and patterns in our data. Also, our ability to be organized and in terms of project management, such as establishing priorities, time management, attention to detail. Two excellent resources for identifying your skills includes Your Degree, Your Future, which is an online tool provided by Carleton that helps you explore the different kind of skills typically developed in your specific degree program. It's a great starting point to see how your academic path aligns with your career competencies. The second tool is our course syllabuses. The course syllabus is an excellent resource. Don't overlook it. The learning objective and outcomes listed in your syllabus are gold mines for identifying skills. They tell you exactly what you're expected to learn and demonstrate. For example, it could be critical thinking skills, research skills, or collaboration skills. Another great place is to look at the assignments listed in your course syllabus. They also give you some insights into the skills you're developing throughout the course. Carleton has 10 career competencies that we know that you're gaining throughout your academic journey. They include career management, communication, community engagement, digital literacy, discipline-specific knowledge, diversity and intercultural awareness, innovation and collaboration, leadership, research and analysis, and professionalism and work ethic. For definitions of each competencies and their transferable skills, please visit our Career Services website. Now let's move into the research stage of career exploration and career planning. The research phase is the second phase of the career planning cycle. This is where we take all the things that we have reflected upon. So we think about all of our strengths, our interests, our values, our environments, our audiences, etc. And we research different career ideas, different career pathways that suit those things that we are good at, that we're interested in, and that are important to us. Now, I have a question for you. Would you buy a car without test driving it? Likely not. The same principle applies to our career. We wouldn't jump into a career without thoroughly researching it to make sure it's the right fit for us. How are we going to know if we like it? How are we going to know that it will meet all of our needs? And so the best way to know this type of information is to conduct some career research. Career research allows you to test drive a career before entering it. And so how do we do career research? There's a few ways. You could certainly do it online. I'm going to share a bunch of resources, online resources that can support you with this. But truth be told, some of the best ways to conduct career research are through experiences such as part-time employment, extracurricular activities, volunteering, and also from meeting people, so through networking. And so when we're conducting career research, we often want to think about it as an inverted pyramid. So we first want to think about what are some industries that we would be interested in researching. Then from there, once we research the industries, we want to look at what types of organizations or what are some organizations that belong to that industry. Then we might look at the departments within those organizations that we would be interested in working for, and then job titles. Some industries you might choose to explore, and these are industries that are typically popular with our BA students. They often come into services and ask us about these industries. And so some of them are related to counseling, criminal justice systems, education, law, forensic, human resources, government, consulting, marketing, business, medicine, community advocacy, immigration, media relations and production, communication, healthcare, research, sports and recreation, social services, sales, and politics. Now let's look at the world of work in terms of industries for STEM related programs. So some industries that are popular among our STEM students who come to us at Career Services are research and development, environmental sciences and sustainability, education, engineering and manufacturing, technology and software development, data science and analytics, government and policy, consulting, robotics and automation, biotechnology, pharmaceuticals, healthcare and medicine, forensic science and criminal justice, science communication, infrastructure, business and entrepreneurship, UX design, and aerospace and avionics. And so if I didn't list any industries that you're interested in, that's okay. Those industries are probably amazing as well, and I highly encourage you to research them further. This is just a short list for you to consider looking into further if you'd like some ideas. And then some organizations that BA students are commonly interested in that you could consider looking into further include Correctional Services Canada, the RCMP, CSIS, OPP, the Royal Ottawa, the Ottawa Hospital, Ottawa Fire Marshals, Carleton University. A lot of students want to come back and work for Carleton as well. Ottawa Carleton District School Board, the Government of Canada, Health Canada, the Public Health Agency of Canada, the Province of Ontario, Shopify, Statistics Canada, Shared Services Canada, CBI Health, University of Ottawa, Canadian Armed Forces, Canadian Mental Health Association, the City of Ottawa, and CHEO. And again, this is just a very short list. There are many other organizations out there for you to explore. Now let's look at some organizations for STEM students that could include Nokia, RCMP, CSIS, National Research Council of Canada, Carleton as well. A lot of our STEM students also want to come back and work for Carleton, Health Canada, Shopify as well, Ericsson, Bombardier, RBC, Ellis Don, Sienna, Siemens, TD, Cisco, Ross Video, Abbott Point of Care, Triumph, the University of Ottawa Heart Institute, the Ottawa Hospitals, Canadian Space Agency, and Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission. Again, this is a very short list. There are many other organizations that you could look into. Some job titles students in our BA may consider looking at based off their industry and the organization that they have been researching. Could be psychologist, lab research assistant, professor, lawyer, behavioral profiler, family counselor, fire or arson investigator, fraud investigator, clinical therapist, human resources specialist, court outreach worker, risk management and healthcare, forensic photographer, podcaster, disabilities counselor, conference and training coordinator, doctor, communications consultant, community health advocate, wellness expert, occupational health psychologist, occupational therapist, educational assistant, social media officer, career consultant. So some folks who work in my office as a career consultant graduated from Carleton with a BA, and publisher. Now let's explore job titles related to industries and organizations in the STEM fields. And so there could be software developer, structural designer, scientist, artificial intelligence consultant, lab and research assistant, professor, risk manager in healthcare, podcaster as well. Maybe you want to talk about different experiments that are ongoing, different science topics, etc. Manufacturing engineer, senior business systems analysis, data science manager, cybersecurity lead, environmental sustainability officer, astronaut, aircraft pilot, researcher, doctor of medicine, psychologist, chemist, laboratory technician, prosthetics designer, mental health research officer, and wildlife biology assistant. I've now presented a bunch of industries, organizations, and job titles, and maybe one or two have piqued your interest and you'd like to do some further research on them. So there are a few online resources that can be really great for conducting our career research. And so one of them includes Your Degree, Your Future. The second includes Career Cruising. For those of you watching this, perhaps you've heard of Career Cruising before. It's very popular in the Ontario secondary school system, but it is actually an excellent resource for all those who are conducting some career exploration and exploring their career development. The third tool is the Government of Canada Career Planning Tool. The fourth tool would be the Canada's Top 100 Career Directory. There's also Tool 11 Ontario, and then Glassdoor. So let's explore some of these together. Carleton created a really great website called Your Degree, Your Future. It's a website designed to support you in your career exploration and to support you with doing career research. And so what you do is you select your degree program. You could select your major or even your minor. And once you go to that degree program page, you're going to see 3 tabs. There's a tab on skills, careers, and what alumni are doing. The skills tab will feature a bunch of skills that your academic department has identified as you gaining throughout your academic journey while pursuing that degree program. The second tab on careers are career ideas that students who have graduated with that degree commonly pursue. It's a short list, so remember there's many other ideas out there as well, but it can help you start to get some ideas and that you can further explore. And then we have a great tab called What Alumni Are Doing. And this is where we provide some example job titles that alumni who have graduated from Carleton with that degree program have gone into after graduation. Carleton students also have free access to Career Cruising. Not only does Career Cruising provide a wealth of information on different career ideas, different occupations that exist, they also provide some really great self-assessment tools if you're wanting to do some further self-exploration. Here is an example of how you would use Career Cruising to explore different career ideas based off your interests or your degree program. And so say, for example, you are in forensic psychology and you're really interested in going into the forensics field. And so you want to know about different career ideas for forensics. And so on the screen here, it lists different occupations, and it also tells you whether or not you'll need high school for that occupation, college, or university. From that list of different occupations related to forensics, I chose to explore researcher. I want to know more about what's involved in being a researcher. And so Career Cruising provides a host of different information. It tells me what a researcher is at glance, so what is a short summary of what the job entails. It shows me different job descriptions so I can see what types of tasks are involved with being a researcher. It provides me information on the working conditions, on the earnings, the common salaries associated with being a researcher, the educational requirements. It provides also sample career paths. So how can I get from where I am now to being a researcher? It also provides related careers. So maybe researcher has really piqued my interest, but I want to know what else would be similar to being a researcher. What other jobs exist out there that would allow me to do something similar? And then also some other resources. And so another one that I was also interested in was psychologists. And so I went to the tab called Related Careers. And this is where it gave me a bunch of other career ideas that are similar or associated with being a psychologist. So this is where I could continue exploring different occupations that are related to an area that I'm interested in. Another great tool to support you with your career research is the Government of Canada Career Planner. The Government of Canada created a really great career planning tool to support those living in Canada with their career development and with researching different career ideas and different occupations that may be of interest to them. Using the same example as before, say that I'm a psychology student and I'm really interested in forensic psychology. I could use JobBank to also explore different occupations related to forensic psychology. So here I'm looking at forensic psychologist, and when I go to the forensic psychologist job page, it brings up a host of information for me as well. So for example, it tells me a description of what a forensic psychologist is. It provides me some job descriptions related to forensic psychology. It tells me I need a university education, and it also tells me that my prospects for this industry are very good. Another thing that's really helpful is it highlights a bunch of skills that are needed to go into forensic psychology. And this can be really helpful to us so that we can adequately market our skill set on our resume, on cover letter, or in interviews, or while networking. We could effectively speak to the skills that are in demand of that industry. Another great feature of JobBank is it tells you if any professional certifications or licensing is needed for that occupation. JobBank also has a really neat tool that allows you to plan your transition from school to work. So say, for example, I'm a psychology student, but you could type in any degree program into this search bar. So say I'm in psychology, I would type in psychology. It has different psychology programs that come up, so I just selected psychology general. Then I clicked bachelor's because that's my current level of education. There it will take me to a page and it will show me what jobs graduates have. And so this is data that Statistics Canada has collected from polling different Canadians on different jobs that they have acquired after they graduated. And then from here, I selected one of those occupations. And so I selected community and social services worker in Canada. And from there, it's going to provide me very similar information to the forensic psychologist job. It's going to provide me a description of what entails community and social services worker. Is going to tell me what level of education I require. It's going to tell me what my job prospects are like. And it's going to show me some job descriptions associated with being a community and social services worker in Canada. 211 Ontario is another great website that you can use to conduct career research, especially if you're interested in working in more of the social services field. This website provides the names of a bunch of different organizations that provide community programs and other social services in Ontario. And while there's no job descriptions or information on different job opportunities on this website, why I highly encourage you to utilize utilize it as a form of career research if you're interested in working in our communities is because it lists a bunch of organizations that provide community and social supports. And so from there, you can then connect with those organizations to see if they're hiring or they're looking for volunteers. So it's a really great way to generate a list of employers that you can then connect with and hear more about what they have to offer and what opportunities may be available. The last online resource I'd like to share with you is Glassdoor. Glassdoor can be a really great online resource to look up different company names, different organizations, and to be able to read a little bit about what it's like working for them. It's also a great way to look up salary data. JobBank as well provides salary information. So Glassdoor is a secondary place that you could look for salary information. The thing to keep in mind, though, with Glassdoor is sometimes you'll read about someone's experience working for a company, and it may sound very negative, but it's really important to use some critical thinking and take sometimes those opinions with a grain of salt. They could be opinions from a disgruntled employee, somebody who was recently let go due to performance. They're not going to tell you that when they're talking negatively about the employer. But nonetheless, it's still can provide some really great insights and information on different employers and the different careers associated with those employers and different salaries. As I mentioned earlier, one of the best ways to do career research is through gaining experience. So it could be from gaining volunteer experiences, from part-time or full-time work experiences, from job shadowing, or from completing internships. And so why is experience such a great tool for career research, and why should we invest our time and energy in getting some of the experiences that I just mentioned? Well, experiences are great to help you explore possible new areas of interest, to learn more about yourself, to gain valuable skills and experiences, to apply your learning, to meet new people and build connections, and to work towards your graduate school or professional program applications. Now, what I will say about my own experience, gaining experience working here on campus was really pivotal in helping me to see that I would like to stay and work in post-secondary. I really enjoyed my student employment experiences here at Carleton. I really enjoyed the type of work I was doing, the types of tasks I was involved with, and I knew that working here at Carleton would be a good fit for me from having those experiences, those student employment experiences throughout my university education. If you're looking for a summer or part-time work experience while you're studying here at Carleton, there's a bunch of different job boards that you can look at to conduct your job search. So there's the My Success job board, there's the Indeed job board, Charity Village, Talentig, JobBank also has job postings, as we saw earlier. There's the iCurious program, the SAP, and of course LinkedIn has a wealth of job postings. There's also summer job inventories. So the government at different levels hires students. And so the city of Ottawa, for example, at the municipal level, the government of Ontario at the provincial level, and FSWEP, which is at the federal level. These are all programs that are designed to provide employment opportunities throughout the summer to post-secondary students. There are a bunch of resources available if you're interested in working in government. These resources are listed on our Career Services website. The third way of conducting career research is by speaking to people. And to be really honest, this is the best way to conduct career research because we gain the most valuable and accurate information from talking to others who are either working in an industry that we're interested in or who perhaps are also interested in the same industry and who could share their own career research with us. And so when we think of researching through people, well, really what that means is networking. And the way that we define networking is through the building of relationships with professionals in industries and organizations in your area of interest. Networking is not asking for a job. Really, networking is about community building and building those connections with like-minded individuals. And the way that we network is we can network online through LinkedIn, but we can also network by attending events such as career fairs and other recruitment events. Carleton hosts numerous recruitment events with employers throughout the academic year, and also by arranging and attending informational interviews. Oftentimes, when we think about networking, we think that we have to network with professionals in our area of interest or people who are really high up at a company or different HR representatives. And yes, those people are very valuable and can provide us tremendous information that will help us to meet our career goals. But don't forget about the people closest to you, the people within your immediate network, your family, your friends, your work colleagues, your work supervisors, people that you participate in extracurricular activities with or who you participate in volunteer experiences with. These people are also a part of your network and can also provide you tremendous advice and information. Even if you think these people don't know anyone in your area of interest or haven't worked in your area of interest before or have no interest in your area of interest, they still could have great advice. And also keep in mind, you have absolutely no idea who people know. You might assume that a family member doesn't know anybody who works in your area of interest, but you have absolutely no idea who your aunt and uncles know, or who your cousin knows, or who your sister's best friend's sister knows. And so it's really important for you to really tap into your own network as well, and not to make any assumptions that they can't provide you some valuable insights, because I bet you they absolutely can. A great way to network using LinkedIn is by utilizing Carleton's LinkedIn alumni feature. So on Carleton University's LinkedIn page, there is an alumni tab. This is where you could look up alumni who have graduated in your same degree program or in another degree program that's of interest to you, and where you can look up where they're currently employed or where they've worked before. You can then message them and ask if you can connect with them. And this is a really great way for networking because you already have something in common, and that is Carleton. And often I find alumni are eager to support current Carleton students because they have been in your shoes before. And so this can be an excellent way to start networking, to dip your toes into networking if you haven't done it before, and also to practice networking on LinkedIn, because the stakes are a little bit easier because you're going to be connecting with folks who have something in common with you, and that is that Carleton connection. A great way to conduct career research through people is by arranging informational interviews, and we call those career chats. So this is where you would meet with someone who shares an interest, the similar professional interest as you, or maybe works in an industry that you really want to work in. And an informational interview is more of a conversation rather than a formal interview. And the goal is to get to know the person you're speaking to and their role or organization. And so it's important to make sure you use this opportunity effectively. Don't ask questions that you could find out the answers to online. You're looking for insider information. And remember, this is a two-way street. So prepare to answer any questions that they may have for you as well. So you really want to prepare for these chats ahead of time. And find ways to stay in touch and continue the relationship. So for example, you could send emails with articles that are of shared interest, or update the person on your accomplishments. If you ask the person to connect you with somebody else and that connection is successful, it's always nice to send a note to say that that connection was successful, to update them on your progress. And so really important that even after the career chat, that you still keep in touch and maintain that connection. You might be wondering what to chat about during these career chats or informational interviews. You could ask the person about their job and their own career journey. You could ask them about their organization and their workplace. You could ask for specific advice about your own situation. So speak to them about your own career goals and ask for advice on how to reach them. You could ask for some information on the industry and the labor market. And certainly you could ask them if there are other people they would recommend that you speak to. So in advance of these meetings, it's super important to do your research and very important to think of the questions that you want to ask in advance. So some questions you may want to have prepared are: what part of this job do you find most satisfying and challenging? What qualities or abilities are important for being successful in this position? How did you prepare yourself for this kind of role? And on a typical day, what do you do? And I think that's a really great question, especially for entry-level positions, so you can see how the day is structured and the different tasks that are commonly involved in more of an entry-level opportunity. So those questions, we define them as more of person-centric questions. But certainly you could ask the individual you're meeting with some questions about the field. You could ask, how did you get started in your current position? Is there a typical career path in this field? What would an entry-level job look like? And how do you see this position or field changing in the future? I really love that particular question because it allows you to be strategic with your learning as you progress through your studies here at Carleton and to seek new opportunities that will help you to learn new skills that will be relevant to your industry of interest in the future. And then you can certainly ask questions on advice where you're seeking advice. And so you could ask, is there any advice you'd give someone entering the field? What are some things about the field or role you wish you knew when you were in university? I also love that question. And then again, is there anyone else you'd recommend I chat with? Once you conduct your career research, you might discover some further education is required to work in certain occupations or to reach your desired career goal. If graduate school or further education is something you're exploring, please keep our office in mind. Career Services can assist you with many aspects of the process, from helping you to explore different further education programs that may be of interest, to helping you prepare different application documents, such as your academic CV or your personal statement and letter of intent, and also to help you prepare for any interview component. For some graduate school programs, especially within the medical field, the application process may require you to interview, and so we can support you in preparing for that. We also have a wide range of resources available on our Career Services website. I highly encourage you to check them out. After we've conducted a sufficient amount of career research, we then move on to planning how we are actually going to reach our career goals or get into the industry that we're interested in. And so this is the planning stage of the career planning cycle, our third stage. So when you're in the planning phase, it's super important to develop multiple strategies for how we can achieve our career goals, because sometimes our plan A's don't always work out. And so having a plan B or even a plan C can make all the difference. And it's really important that when it comes to our career goals, that they remain flexible and agile. Career goals should be flexible enough to allow you to pivot if your circumstances change. So, for example, plan how you'll pivot if you don't get into the graduate program that you applied to, or you don't land your dream job right away. In those scenarios, you would want to think of a plan B strategy for how you would gain new experiences through internships, volunteering, temporary roles, or even further training that will help to build your skills expand your knowledge, and give you practical field exposure. These steps not only add to your resume, they make you more competitive for future applications. Because just because a plan A doesn't work out, it doesn't mean that a plan A is never working out. So if you don't get into your graduate program, for example, you can apply again and try again. It doesn't mean that you'll never get in. And so during the planning stage is also a great time to think of other career options that could be of interest based on the career research that you just performed. That still align with your strengths and with your values. Having multiple plans in place will ensure that you have plans to execute in the next phase of the career planning cycle. Now let's talk about AI in our career development. AI can be an excellent tool to help us with our career development. It can help us with our career exploration, so identifying our skills, our interests, and our values. It can also help us to conduct that vital career research we just spoke of. In networking situations, it can help us to think of questions to ask while networking or when conducting informational interviews. Furthermore, it can support us with preparing our application documents or our resume and cover letter, and also with interview preparation. The tools work best when you understand how to use them both effectively and ethically. So it's really important when using AI to check responses for inaccurate information and make sure to include your own wording. So that means that if you're using AI to help you draft an application document or to help you think of some questions to use when conducting an informational interview, make sure they still sound like you, that they're written in your own words. Use specific prompts and ask follow-up questions if the AI tool is not giving you the information that you're looking for or seems like the information it's spitting out is not accurate. Also, ask for specific responses based on your application documents or based on your career goals. And furthermore, AI will not provide individual expertise or an individual approach, so please do come to see us at Career Services for support with career exploration and with support with how to do career research and all the other components of career development that we are more than happy to support students with. Let's look at some next steps as we approach the end of this workshop. The final stage of the career planning cycle is take action. So this is where you would take the plans that you developed and actually put them into fruition. And so how would you actually execute what you decide to do in order to achieve your career goals? And so when we think of the career planning cycle, it often goes around and around and around because as we progress through our career journey and as we need to pivot to new experiences or we decide to seek new experiences, we will go through that cycle continuously. We'll explore, we'll conduct research, we'll plan, and then we'll take action again, okay? And so as we conclude this workshop, I want you to keep in mind a few things. I really want you to keep in mind that it's okay if at this stage of your academic journey, you aren't sure what you want to do. You don't have a clear defined career goal. You don't know what you want to do after you graduate. That is okay. I also want to reassure you that it's okay if you change your mind on what you want to do. Maybe you do have a well-defined career goal, but 5 years from now, you change your mind. Just like I had a really defined career goal when I came to Carleton. I wanted to become a journalist, and then I changed my mind as I was progressing through my academic journey. That is more than okay. So because career is ever evolving and goes in so many different directions, it's really important to keep learning about ourselves to help make meaningful decisions about the right career paths that are best suited for us. And really make sure to research any career ideas you have before you just jump right into them. So you want to research through online means, but also, of course, from gaining experiences and from networking, from talking to people. And if you recall that analogy, try before you buy. So you're going to try the car before you buy it. So the same thing applies to a career. You really want to make sure to investigate it before you actually proceed with your plans and taking action so that you can really make sure that this is the right move for you. If you'd like some further support with investigating what you can do with your degree and with career exploration in general, please don't hesitate to connect with us at Career Services. You're welcome to visit our website, send us an email, give us a phone call, or come to see us in person in 401 Torrey Building. We also have 2 social media channels that you can utilize to engage with us, an Instagram and a LinkedIn profile. And you're also welcome to connect with us using our live chat on our website. Furthermore, if you'd like to meet with a member of the Career Services team, you can book an appointment with us using your MySuccess account. Thank you for participating in this workshop and for your time and attention. I wish you all the best in the remainder of your academic journey and with your career exploration. Bye for now. Thank you.